Okay.
Listen, we are talking
Yeah.
money.
It's all about the money right now. People are winning like 230 million in lotto and wow, okay. But that is not the topic of the day with regards to money.
I think it should be.
It should be, Eitan. It really should be, because it's time right now for another edition of our new Wednesday feature where we focus on the unconventional side of the law, and we're calling it So Now What? And we're joined once again by our expert lawyer and director at legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern. So what's the question of the day?
Well, you know what, Eitan, you know here at the Expresso team, we get up to all kinds of shenanigans because we have another Expresso team member recently who lent some money to a friend. Now, because it was a good friend, they didn't properly negotiate terms of repayment. Now, the money still hasn't been paid back, and now our Expresso team member finds himself in an awkward position. And here is our question, so now what?
So what do you do if your friend owes you money?
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
So I suppose, look, there's a kind of subtle art into getting paid. So the first thing you need to do is, it's pretty self-explanatory and it sounds obvious, but it's not that obvious, is you've got to ask for it. We as humans are, for some reason, we are difficult when dealing with money. We are often very unclear. If you're owed money and your friend owes you money, we want to skate around that point. So the first thing you've got to do is ask for it. The second thing you've got to do is ask for it is be upfront about it. Be a little bit pushy about it. You've got to ask very clearly, what they owe, when you want to get paid. You've got to be a little bit pushy about it, a little bit forward.
Okay.
The last thing you've got to do is you've got to be a little bit forceful. And I don't mean forceful in the illegal sense. I don't mean get the baseball bat out. I mean, you know, like a lot of people say, well, I've emailed them, they haven't paid. That's often not enough. You've got to get answers from the person, email every day, phone them every day. I'll tell you, I owed someone money last week. There was a credit card transaction that didn't go through. There's something wrong with my card. The person phoned me every single day. I was putting it off. I'll deal with it payday. They phoned me every single day. And you know what I did? Paid. It was annoying. I paid.
Yeah.
So you got to just be forceful. You got to be pushy. There's no other. It's very difficult to get paid. There's no other real way around it rather than just keep going.
And
at
it's
it.
just not a good feeling, especially when you loan that person the money in
100%.
good faith because they needed it, and so
Yeah.
you were there in their hour of need.
I mean,
so,
that's something you've got to evaluate as well. Like, there's a friendship involved.
Yeah.
So, like, at what point, you know, is this money that you are just going to let slide, or is this money that is worth pushing to get to risk in the friendship?
Now, I would think, isn't it weird, I mean, if it's a really good friend to actually, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird about money and friends, but is it weird to put those repayment terms and conditions out there?
Okay, so I would say it's always worthwhile getting something in writing, especially when you're doing something with a friend. You know that old saying, don't do business with friends?
Yeah.
It should be, don't do business with friends unprofessionally. So,
Verbally.
exactly. If you're going to lend someone money, if you're going to lend a friend money, get it in writing. When is an exact date when it's getting paid back, the exact amount, if there's interest, the exact amount. Because if you don't, then we suffer from commercial amnesia, and everyone sort of forgets what the terms are. And it might be in pretty good faith, but it's just always really necessary to get it in writing.
Yeah.
And does a WhatsApp count, or does it have to be an email?
You know, a WhatsApp counts. If you're going to be doing business in WhatsApp, then you should kind of expect something to go wrong. You want, you know, if you're lending your friend money and it's something, it's a significant amount, whip out an old piece of paper and a pen, or get on, you know, Word, type it out, you know, both sign it. What's the harm?
Yeah. What about going to the Smalls Claims Court? Because we've now, of course, established that taking the law into your own hands is a no-go. Don't do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's two things there. Firstly, never take the law into your own hands. That's not how our law... Ever. It's not how the law works. If someone owes you money, you know, don't get on Facebook and badmouth them. Don't threaten them. Don't call their employer. All those sorts of things. That's not how our society works. And if I've seen anything from being a lawyer, it's that there's always two sides to every story. So you might think you're completely in the right. Your friend might think they're completely in the right. And as soon as you enter into the court of social media or anything like that, it's messy, and now you've got a whole other issue on your hands. Mm-hmm. The Small Claims Court, it's a fantastic resource. You're allowed to take matters to the Small Claims Court if they're under 15,000 Rand. So, you know, and ideally, most of the matters that you'd be dealing with friends would probably be under that amount. You don't need a lawyer. It's a very simple process. You can do it all yourself. You want to know how, head down to the local Small Claims Court. Yeah. There's a form you can fill out, and you can deal with the whole matter there yourself without a lawyer.
Yeah. I look forward to just continuing that, because I want to know exactly how it works at the Small Claims Court.
Yes.
In the meantime, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back again with Eitan shortly. Stick around.
Cool.
It's my feel-good breakfast
welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show. It's a Wednesday morning. We're live, large, and in charge. And so good to have you with us. Eitan likes that. You like that?
I love that.
Live, large, and in charge thing. It's part of our discussion today, talking about money, owing money or being owed money in our legal segment called So Now What. So we've spoken earlier on about the small claims
court.
Smalls. Because it's very small amounts of money. Small claims court being legal recourse for you to get back the money that you're owed by a friend or whomever it is that you've conducted a loaning transaction with, where there's no, I guess, contract to substantiate what's happened. But there are other forms of recourse as well.
Yeah, for sure. So like we were saying earlier, if you've asked for the money and you've put as much pressure as possible and they haven't paid you, you can assume at that point they're not going to get paid. Now, it's important to remember, if someone's not paying you, it's for one of two reasons. Either they don't have the money, in which case you could press as hard as you want and do it. You know, it could be like the gangster movies where you're pressing someone for money. If they don't have it, they're not going to pay you. But if they do have the money, then it is worth taking it further. And then you've got recourse. So you can send them a letter of demand. And a letter of demand is where you take your request for money and you put it into a formal setting. So you formally set out in the letter how much they owe you, why they owe it to you, and when you want to get paid by, and a date that they have to pay you by. Dates are crucial in the art of getting paid. If they miss that date, then you can take it to the next step, which is you would issue summons. You would actually sue them, and you would have to go to court and sue them. And at that point, it starts to get very expensive. But it is a step. If you are owed a significant amount of money, then it is worth starting to pay lawyers' fees or kind of trying to go through it yourself in order to get to recover that money.
Okay.
Can I quickly just maybe jump in? You
Go
said
for it.
they either don't have the money or they can't pay you because they don't have the money, or they do. What if they don't have the money, but in terms of it being a liquid asset in their bank account, but the money is in asset form, like a car, for instance, that could be broken down, sold off, and you get paid?
For sure. So that's where the beauty of the legal system comes in. And that's where, like, when you sue someone and you follow it through, you issue summons, they try to defend it or they don't defend it, and you finally go to court and get a judgment against them, then the sheriff comes and will say, look, you owe this person money. If they don't pay, the sheriff can arrive at their house and attach property, literally walk out with their car, with their computers, anything, and try and sell that off to pay your debt.
Sure.
So that's the force that the law has behind you when you get a judgment. But it does take some work and some pressure in order to get to that point.
Can we quickly flip the script? What if I'm the person that owes someone money, but I'm not in a position to pay them back? What are my options?
Okay, so fantastic question. This is something which is really worth remembering. And we see this a lot as lawyers. If you are someone that wants to get paid, make sure you are also someone that pays your debts. There's nothing worse than someone who complains about not getting paid, but owes a lot of money at the same time. So that's the first thing you can do. Make sure you pay. Secondly, if someone is being aggressive to you and pressurizing you in ways that aren't legal, then you have recourse against them. You can go to the police and say, look, someone is pressurizing you to pay you. It is very important to remember that paying your debts and any sort of aggression are two separate matters. So the fact that someone's being aggressive doesn't mean your debt falls away, but it does mean that person is acting like a criminal, and then you can go to the police and take recourse against them.
Yeah. Wow.
Sure.
Okay, I wish we could speak about this even more, because now my question was going to be like, when you go to the police station, what do you say? Constable Nikoloi is standing there. Constable, somebody's putting pressure on me. Why?
Yeah.
I need to pay them. And then they laugh at you.
Maybe we can deal with this all in the next weeks.
That's Monopoly money for the win.
Okay, listen, we really love this new segment and hope that you're enjoying it too. And we'd love to hear your questions about the law. So if you've got some questions about some unconventional sides of the law, do share them with us at Expresso Show, and we will include them in conversation with Eitan. Here's your payment for this week's...
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Here's
We don't
a
want to be
tip.
owing you anything.
Awesome.